Hey guys!
Long time no see. I know we've been MIA for a few months now, but not gonna lie, editing is not for the weak. Now, we've still been traveling while in between the free time for work and taking some videos, but when it comes to editing and posting on YouTube, we kind of bailed. So, but we're back now, and we're going to try to at least make one video a month about the life in Japan and our travels around the world. So hopefully we can do that one.
All right, well, speaking of life in Japan, it's officially been 1 year since we made this beautiful transition and touched on out of the airport. You're done now. Yeah. This year has been a phenomenal year. We couldn't have asked for anything better. This is a great experience. I just want to thank everyone who's been a part of our whole journey and our transition coming over, and the individuals that helped us daily in and out.
And still keep in touch and check on us.
Definitely.
We appreciate you.
So the reason why we're making this video is because, like, it's been 1 year. We want to make sure that we answer any questions that people might have, and so people could see how it's been since we've left over a year. So we went to our social medias and we asked our friends and family and followers to give us any questions that they may have about being in Japan. So we have about
26 questions.
About 26 questions. So it's going to be fairly long for a video, but we'll be able to answer a lot of questions. So before we get started with the questions, I just want to say that every situation is different when it comes to this, for us being on our program and things like that. So this is our view and our perspective. Some might be for others, some might not. So it's just off of your perspective and your viewpoint on when you actually get to go.
Okay. Right. So moral of that is, this is based off of Kadeem and Donique's experience and no one else's, okay? So first question we have is the cost of living. How is the price of living in Japan?
I would say that the cost of living, or price of living, especially for us in particular, has been fairly great. I'll just go ahead and give you some rough numbers. So for us, I would say our rent is about $130. Our gas for a month is about $9.67. Our water, is actually, water bill is set up into two parts. So for 2 months. So for 2 months, it's around $28.50. So about $14.25 a month. Our phone bill is about $70, but that also includes our Netflix make
some international calls that we have to make.
A lot of international calls that we make, and our iTunes account as well, Apple Music actually.
Don't forget light.
Oh, light. Our light, it's about $63.40 a month. That's the biggest one, and that fluctuates. Seeing that it's now into the summertime, that it's extremely high because we crank that AC up.
We learned without the AC, and you can't really see it, but the way their AC system is set up, it's only strong enough to reach at least 2 of the rooms in the apartment, and that's just because they have centralized air.
They don't.
They don't have centralized air, and the heat here is ridiculous. We'll get to that later. So the AC, it's an investment that we make. So that fluctuates. The electricity fluctuates depending on the season, because winter also is extremely cold. And we thought we can thug it out and not put the AC on. And I'm not gonna lie, there's a video of us where you can see our breath inside the house. We had scarves, hats, jackets, and we were freezing when you can see our breath. So that's an investment. But those prices are based because you are a
Jet. So
Yes.
so my company actually helps and subsidize that situation. So that's why I say every situation is different. Some
like if,
prefectures make it cheaper than others, so it just depends.
and depending on where you live as well, because if you live in Tokyo,
it'll be more expensive.
that is more Americanized prices. Still might be a little cheaper, but still Americanized prices. But like he said, it depends on the city and the prefecture that you live in Japan.
Yep. Another one, food. Food is a big one for us. We love to eat. So our food for a month, what is it?
Roughly $275. I've already calculated depending on how we've been eating. If we decide to splurge and eat out majority of the time, or get food from the convenience like 7-Eleven, Lawson, and stuff like that, it might be a little higher, but honestly, it's 40,000 yen every month total for the both of us to eat, and we eat a lot, so that is just a high range. Of course, it can be less or higher. Some people are only 20,000 yen. However they do it, bless their hearts. But and then there's times where we cook at home as well, so that helps to level out the expenses when it comes to food. But yeah, pretty much $275 if you want to splurge and eat well.
And our last big bill would be our internet. Our internet a month is about $112. And that's for us in our situation. We have home internet, but then we also have 2 pocket Wi-Fis. I use mine for work. She uses her pocket Wi-Fi just for every day. And our home Wi-Fi, we usually just leave that for our TV. So
and Alexa.
And Alexa. So those two just run off the home Wi-Fi. So in total, our bill is around $675 a month.
Roughly.
Yes. Roughly $675 a month, and that's with all our expenses, so food, rent, things like that. So yeah.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Our second question.
Yes, second question.
What is your favorite Japanese tradition or custom?
Yes. Okay. So, well, I would say favorite tradition would be tea ceremony. When we first got here, we were blessed to be invited by one of Kadim's, one of the Japanese teachers. They invited us to a tea ceremony, and it was actually really nice. It was nice to see the culture and the way that they do the way that the tea ceremony was even presented. And it was performed by high school kids. And even though that they were so young, the poise and the, the sacredness, I guess you would say, that they had for the tea ceremony and the way that they did it, it was really nice to experience. So far, that is my favorite tradition that they have. Also, they have a lot of festivals. Honestly, if you look it up, there's at least one festival every weekend somewhere in Japan. They're very big on festivals. And the summer fireworks. That is basically where everyone in the city comes out and they watch the firework display. How about customs? Customs, there are many Japanese customs. But some of them are really close and familiar to us because we're part of like the Caribbean culture, such as taking your shoes off when you enter a house or certain buildings. And I said certain buildings, like for example, if you go to a school, you, depending on the school, you would have to take your shoes off. And they have inside shoes. Also, if you go to the bathroom, you have bathroom slippers. So you take your inside shoes off and you put on your bathroom slippers. They keep it separate. Also, the bowing. That is another. I love the bowing. That is another custom that they have that I really like. I'm drawing a blank. Oh, certain restaurants also you have to take your shoes off.
Yeah, definitely. All right.
Any other customs that you can think of? There's a lot of customs, but I can't think of any right now.
Yeah, I would say you wrapped it up for me. Pretty much the bowing and the shoes. Yeah.
Oh, this is a random custom, but when you're driving, in Florida or America, you know, if someone lets you out, you might wave your hand or don't say thank you at all. But in Japan, I've learned if someone lets you by or lets you out, it's a custom there. The hazard light for us means something's wrong with our car. The hazard light for them means thank you for something that you've done. If you let them through or whatever it is, it's a thank you.
Your gesture.
It's a gesture of thank you. So I think that's a random random custom that I like.
All right, nice. Next one. Let's
Date
go.
night. What do you do for a date night? With us, again, we are homebodies. So, our date night, if it's not out to eat their delicious sushi, or one of our favorite restaurants, it's honestly staying in, grabbing food and playing our games. We have like our Switch and different games. We'll have like game competitions or whatever.
She loses.
Not all the time, but he cheats. Remember that, y'all. He does not play. If you know Kadeem, he does not play fair in games. But we're gonna leave that out. But yeah, either play a game or watch a movie. But that's pretty much date night. But our date nights usually are date weeks.
Or weekends.
Where we'll find, if it's weekends, we don't have that long of a time. We might find somewhere in Japan that we haven't been to, and we'll travel either a day trip or maybe 2 to 3 nights, or find somewhere in Asia that we have not been to.
Definitely.
And we travel. Nice. Or go back to Thailand, our favorite Asian country other than Japan.
Nice. All right. Question 4. Do you feel you have become a better, more well-rounded person from this experience?
I'll let you start.
I would say yes. I just really love the experience that it provided me. I was able to learn a lot of different things, not only about Japan, but about myself, allow me to be able to understand different situations better, being able to be more patient. That's really helped me, being here, especially with that language barrier. Certain things, I've become a master of charades. It helps a lot. But I would say it's really humbling being in this situation and being able to learn a lot of different things. So I said it has helped me a lot, especially with timing and things like that. How about you?
Yes, I would say it has helped me to become a more well-rounded person. For one, which I think the other questions will answer that, but it's very stress-free living, in my opinion. So as far as, like you said, patience, it helps you with patience. It humbles you as well when it comes to culture differences. Because Japan, they hold their culture at a very high standard. So they expect you, when you come here, to do the same and respect their culture and know their culture. And have the respect for them to at least learn their culture and not just say, well, I don't know it, so I'm not going to do it. So I have learned to be humble and be open to learn the culture. And when it comes to time, they do not play about time. They would politely let you know that you need to do better the next time. Yeah, they don't play about time. They're very punctual people. So I have learned to be on time for everything. And on time don't mean to show up on, no, on time means you're there early and ready to start whatever you need to start. And also, yeah, and also with the education system, learning the pride that they have in their education system. Definitely. And no matter the age level, they're all very
studious.
Yes. They're all very studious and very motivated. I would say majority. I'm not gonna say all, but 99% of them are
98.
very motivated to learn, and they take their education very seriously. Them and their parents.
Definitely.
So yes, I have become a very well-rounded person.
All right, nice. All right, so question number 5. What positive stands out the most about living in Japan? What are your positives?
Well, number one positive, and I'll let you start, is safety, but you can go ahead with that one first.
Oh yeah, I would definitely say that safety is a big one. As being a person of color, or more specifically a black man of color, safety here is amazing. I don't have to worry about looking over my shoulder for police or anything or any situation like that. I truly love the safety of Japan. That aids in on that stress-free living. What's another one for you?
Well, I'll touch base on safety as well. Like he said, as a black man, but just in general, as a person going outside, you don't have to worry about being robbed. You don't have to worry about getting shot, just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And if you live in America, you know that you can just be going to the grocery store and you happen to be part of a mass shooting or stray bullet drive-by shootings, all of that. There's no guns here in Japan. So that's one thing you don't have to worry about, getting shot. And as a woman, you don't have to worry about being by yourself. Maybe certain places. I'm not going to say everywhere in Japan, but from what I've personally experienced, we can wake up, if it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you wanted to go to 7-Eleven, I can walk by myself without having to worry that someone's going to kidnap me or I'm going to get hurt or anything. So that's one of the main positives I can say about living here. Another one, like we spoke about first, is affordable living.
Yeah, affordable. Price of living here is amazing. As you guys can see, it's about $675, $700 for us for everything that we need. So that allows us to be able to save, be able to travel more, and do different things. So I really love the price of living here.
And that leads into the easily accessible and affordable travel.
Definitely, man.
Whereas in coming from America, trying to get over to Asia, it is a whole check.
Fairly expensive.
It's very, very expensive. And of course the long flight. But here it's not that expensive to go to. We've been China, South Korea,
Indonesia, Taiwan.
There's so many
a lot of
places.
them.
Thailand, multiple times. We're about to go there next week. So it's very easy and affordable to travel over here. And this one goes back to the safety. It's very peaceful and stress-free living. And also great quality food.
Yeah, they take their food here serious, and that's amazing for me because I love to eat. She does too. Main thing I would say would be like sushi. Their grade of the way they handle their fish and different things like that is amazing, spectacular. Same thing what they do with produce and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Okay. So I think that answers that question. There's a lot of positivity and they're really nice people here. But everywhere has their negatives and bad things. But I would say so far, Japan, the positive is outweighing the negative.
Yeah, definitely.
The next question, could you see this as your forever home? Yes.
Definitely.
We're not going to tell our parents, but
but definitely.
But yes, I can see as a forever home for the reasons listed above and many, many more. I feel like living outside of America lengthens your lifespan. Don't hold me against it, America, but I'm just saying it just lengthens your lifespan. But yes, we can see it. So next question.
Have you ever experienced any racism or colorism? Or are you guys treated like royalty here?
Oh, did you want to go?
Go ahead.
Me? Okay. I I would say in Japan and Asia as a whole, I wouldn't say racism. I would consider it as a xenophobia. Basically, a discrimination against foreigners. So it doesn't matter what color you are, white, black, doesn't matter. It's just the fact of you being a foreigner. There's some discrimination that you may experience. One experience we can say is like riding on transportation, like buses or trains. There might be an empty seat next to you, and it might be the only empty seat in the bus or train, and they would choose not to sit there. They would stand up instead. I'm not sure exactly what's going on in their mind, if it's that they might feel uncomfortable or whatever it is. But I mean, if you're not bothered by it, because honestly, I don't like anyone sitting next to me anyways, so it doesn't bother me. Some people might get offended, but they don't make it known like, ew, I don't want to sit next to you. It's just they'll see it and they would rather stand up for their hour ride or whatever it is. But to say that, it's more so of the older generation that is more so of the discrimination, and that may be just due to the history and their knowledge or lack thereof of foreign culture. And I'm not gonna lie, from our experience, from the foreigners that we've seen visit Japan,
they don't make it any better.
as a foreigner myself, seeing another foreigner, they do not make it any better. They're really loud and really, like, I don't know how to say it. It's just
outright.
I don't want to say, yes, outright. It's just they stick out. So in Japan's culture is more conservative, and they're respectful to others' space and well-being. And as a foreigner, a lot of foreigners tend to not do that. So that's why they kind of distance themselves. But like I said, it's more so of the older generation. The younger generation, they're okay with kind of mixing together. But racism, no. But that does not say that you do not get looks. That's one thing that they will do, is they will look, and it's not in the sense of disgust.
No.
It's more of a trying to learn, the lack of knowledge. So they might be looking at our hair, our skin color, just how we're dressed, and the way that our mannerisms are. They're just looking to, learn. Like, if you see something that you've never seen before, you would look too. So that's how we take it. Not so more as an offensive way.
Yeah.
And we have many pictures of us in random people's phones in Asia.
Yeah, definitely. And especially different countries like China or Indonesia or South Korea.
We're celebrities.
They love us over there.
That's where the royalty. That's where the royalty part of the question come in, because either sometimes they might sneak a picture, or they might just come up to you and say, "Can I take a picture?" Or a lot of people have asked. They haven't ran. I have never experienced so far where they just touch, but they will ask you, "Can I touch your hair?" And they would touch it, and they're just mesmerized by the texture. Especially my children, my students. They love touching my hair and feeling the different textures of it and all of that, the different jewelry that I wear, because it's not their culture and it's completely different.
Yeah, it's just a learning experience.
Exactly.
For everyone.
Yes.
Good.
Yes, I think that answers that question.
I think so. What has been your favorite experience thus far?
I'll let you answer that. I've been talking.
Favorite experience thus far. Man, that's a tough one. I would say for me, just overall the culture itself of Japan, the food, seeing different things, and traveling. Just everything being in this space has really been amazing. Seeing different things, seeing different perspectives, seeing the culture, seeing how their history and everything all intertwines. Their embraceness of food and how I really love food. So seeing how they truly embrace great quality food has really been good for me, and traveling. So Yeah, how about you?
Favorite experience is kind of hard to answer. I've been trying to think while you were talking. But overall, everything. But I would say favorite experience has been teaching. It is very different, in my opinion, than the American culture of teaching. And it just opens my eyes every day with the experience. Yeah. I guess I'll just leave it at that. But of course, the food, traveling, culture, everything that you said. But yeah, that would be my answer.
Nice. All right. Next one. How was it adapting to work life? Would you want to start?
I can start. Yeah, sure. So adapting to work life was, I wouldn't say difficult. It was a challenge, of course. It is not easy because it is completely different than, well, not completely, but it's a major difference than America. So I would say that it was challenging, but the only adjusting part that was kind of hard was in America, if you wanted to take a day off, if you woke up and said, I don't feel like going to work, you can put that thing called PTO in or UTO. If you have paid time off, unpaid time off, you can just call in and say, hey boss, I don't feel like coming in, and you don't go.
Yeah.
Here, no. They don't have such thing. You can do that, but it would be very much frowned upon. And with the company I work with, it's kind of difficult to do that. Because also there's no such thing as substitute teachers.
They do. They have.
Well, it's
for
you.
For you,
yes,
yeah.
There's no such thing as substitute teachers. It's just the other teachers covering you, but it's not like a random teacher coming into the school to cover your class who doesn't know your lesson. It's kind of like they would work around switching your lessons and maybe doing it a different day rather than that day. So basically that's the adjustment part. The taking time off is not as easy as it is in America, but at the same time they let you know your days off ahead of time. Well, for my company, they let you know the days off ahead of time so you can plan accordingly. But besides that, adjusting was, just like you would do for any other job. Yeah,
I would say, in addition to what you're stating about times and times off, for my company it's the same. You're a real vital person in the company, especially for my school, so they really value my lessons and things like that, so they really want me there 24/7. But it's just, you just have to be mindful and speak to your superiors and let them know about the days you need to take off. I'm gonna say the challenging part for me was just seeing their different way or customs of handling school. So in America, taught at university and taught high school, but the way they do high school here is slightly different. Where in America, you would have your own classroom, and you'll have your classroom will most likely be your your office and things like that. Whereas here, classrooms could change, vary, and it's one whole teacher room. So instead of you having your own room, that's where you lesson plan and do everything, all of the teachers are in one room. So you're probably in your own department, you're in a line with your department in a cubicle, and that was a little bit challenging for me to get adjusted to, from coming from an area where I had my own room and things like that. Had to really adjust to that situation. But other than that, I would also say the students themselves was really eye-opening for me. If you're from America, you can see how sometimes it's an issue where the students do not want to learn or things like that. And I really, really enjoy. I love all my students back home. I love y'all. But the students here, I gotta say it. But the students here truly, truly embrace education. They value it a lot. And I didn't know that in some cases you're not required to go to high school here. Whereas in the U.S. it's all the way up until 12th grade, whereas high school is somewhat secondary. So in some cases they pay for school, for high school. So I didn't know that, and I find that to be really intriguing. But yeah.
They treat it like university.
Yeah.
Basically, you have to take tests and you have to basically apply for whichever high school you want to go to.
Mm-hmm.
And if your test scores aren't good enough, you might not get into this certain high school. They might not accept you.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole day where you go and see if you made it into this high school. You shadow. It's a major thing. It's not a free privilege. It's like an honor to actually be. So they take it very seriously.
Mm-hmm. A lot of pride in their school.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
All right. Good.
Next question.
Yes. Let's see. We are on number
10.
10?
10? Yeah.
Yep. What is the best way to pick up the language?
Kadeem, you can go first.
All right. Other than charades, I would say for me, best way of picking up the language for me personally is actually just doing my day-to-day routine and just actually living it.
I have a question. Have you picked up any languages, Kadeem?
Huh? So slightly. I know a few words that helps me out. On my day.
So 3, right?
About 10. About 10 words, but no. But seriously, no. The language, it can be difficult at times, but you've learned to adapt. Certain situations, Google Translate and Time Kettle. They're not sponsored, but the link down below has been really, really good for me. How about you?
So why he just lied to y'all that it's fairly easy. In my opinion, others might say different, but Japanese language is very difficult.
Definitely.
Especially the kanji and all the different. It's very confusing. But they do have language classes here that you can learn if you choose. I believe you have some of the classes require you to know kanji before they teach you, which is kind of backwards, but I'll leave that there. But the way I've been picking up the language, honestly, from my students, and as I'm teaching them, if they say the Japanese word, some of the words, if it's like repetitive, I'll remember it, or certain sentences. So I've been picking it up way more than he has. So don't let him lie to you. But that's how I pick it up. And also, as I'm driving to work, I listen to the Japanese radio. Not gonna lie to you, don't know what they're talking about. But I still pick up certain words, and like if I see them use the words often, I might like put it on my Google Translate, which, like he said, that helps you a lot with picking it up. But okay, sorry about that technical difficulty, but basically I was just talking about how it's easy to pick up the language. But you have Google Translate, like he said, you have the headphones, and the people here are very understanding and kind when it comes to you not knowing Japanese, and they'll work with you with the translate. Like, he had surgery and he went through it. He, like I said, headphones, or they have, sometimes some of them have their own translator, or we have our dentist, and they are very happy to even speak English with you, because that's their opportunity to practice their English. Because I don't know if we said it before, but Japan and learning English, the country as a whole holds that at a high standard, basically. So they try every opportunity to learn English. So adapting the language, it's hard, but it's doable.
Definitely.
I would say that.
All right, nice. Next question. So here we go, 11. Is there racism in some parts or stores? I know we touched on it before.
Well, yeah, that we touched on that with the previous question. In stores, yes, you will see certain areas where it says no foreigners allowed. And that's necessarily not being like discriminating. Well, it is discriminating. I'm not going to lie. It is discriminating. But in some places, it's honestly for your own good. And other places, I would just believe that they don't feel that the interaction, I guess,
will be as authentic.
Yes, or the customer service, which they hold very high standards for, would not be authentic. And they might have a certain setting that they expect their stores or their restaurants to be at, and their notion of foreigners are, you know, loud and obnoxious sometimes and not respectful to their culture. So for the stores and the restaurants to maintain their respectful cultures, they just say no foreigners allowed. But it's rare. I honestly have seen that once for the year that we've been here.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's everywhere. But yeah, that's it pretty much.
Next question.
Oh, next question is the food actually good, or were you hyping it up?
All right.
Go ahead, Mr. Food. Mr. Food,
Right.
You got it.
So actually, I would say the food is really, 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 really good. Like I told you guys before, if I haven't, they hold food to a high standard. They take true pride in their food, their produce. Everything here is seasonal. You might see something, you love it. 2 months later, you wouldn't even see it. You wouldn't find it. Like they truly take their food here with a lot of pride. Amazing sushi, fish, rice, bread.
I've never seen bread expire in one day.
Yeah.
Made it today and expires tomorrow.
Yeah, they take their bread very serious. So they bake it daily. Their food, I think one cool custom I've seen thus far would be their supermarkets. In the US, we'll have food and then you'll have it in the supermarket for about another 2-3 days. Actually, when it comes to certain things like fresh food or different types of meals, as it goes closer to closing time, they start discounting the food. So it's like 20% off, 30% off, 50% off, 60% off, 70% off. So it's like, it's amazing. Like you could go to the supermarket it closes at 9. You go there at 8:30. Something that would cost you $6 would now be $2 or $1. So it's like, it's amazing. How about for you?
The food, everything that I've tasted has been a lie. 99.9% of the things that I've eaten in Japan and in the Asian countries have been amazing. Delicious. But natto.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that natto short video, go check that one out. That's hilarious. She doesn't really like natto at all.
Doesn't really? No, I don't even. I'm sorry. I'm not saying it's nasty, because there's some people, and there's a lot of kids, surprisingly, and a lot of Japanese, again, it's their culture, so of course they love it. That's one thing that I can live without. That and daikon, which is basically radish, but to me it smells like fish. So those are only two things, and honestly, they're not actual like main food, so I wouldn't even count them in the list. But besides those two things, I love everything. Their quality of food, like you said, is amazing. But yeah.
Nice.
Next question.
All right, let's see. Do you guys like the culture? I think we answered that one.
I love the culture.
Yeah.
The culture is very inviting and a lot of fun, and like I said, it's humbling.
Yeah. The things that you can see, the people that you get to meet is just an amazing experience.
And it's like we were saying earlier, it's closer to our Caribbean culture that we've grown up on. So it feels closer to home.
Especially for
like when I talk to my mom, she's like, a lot of the things that I tell her that happen here, that's basically what we do in Guyana anyways. like a lot of stuff is cash based. How we wash clothes and hang it outside, we don't have a dryer.
Yeah, same thing in Jamaica.
Yeah, so a lot of the customs, taking off your shoes, all of that, the culture is really nice, and it's similar to what we're used to.
All right, nice. Experience as a black person in Japan. I touched on it once before, earlier. As a black man, I find this, for me personally, it's amazing. I don't have to worry about safety. I don't have, like I told you, I don't have to look over my shoulder, certain things. As a black man that you would find very, very uncomfortable in America, you don't have that issue that much here. I find it to be great as a black person for me. How about you?
As a black person in Japan, like we said before, there's no, that we have experienced, there's no racism. There's more so of
Curiosity.
culture curiosity. Yes. Like I said, they love touching my hair. That's one of the main things the kids ask, like my hair. Touching it and touching my jewelry, touching my skin. But there's other black people here. Now in Gifu, where we live, the prefecture we live, there are a few, very much few. When we see them, we are surprised when we see them.
Definitely.
So there's a few here, but like Osaka, Tokyo, and other prefectures that we may not have been to, there are a lot of black presence. So Japan is getting more accustomed to black people. But you fit in. It's like you said, safe. The police, there's no driving while black. If you are from America, you know exactly what that means. There's no such thing as driving while black here.
Yeah.
I can say though, hair products.
Oh yeah. That's tough.
It's non-existent.
Yeah.
You have to either, when you go home, you grab it and you stock up and bring it here, or you can go on iHerb, which I have learned from a good friend, that you can find some black products, some black products, but not that many for you here.
Also, all right. Next question, number 15. Is it a lot different than the U.S. or is it kind of the same?
Would you like me to answer that, or you?
You can start.
Okay. I say it depends on where you are. In Japan, like we said before, if you're in Tokyo, it's more, we can consider that international Japan because it's more Americanized. But of course, there's a lot of anakas, basically countryside areas. But I would say 50-50 that it's Americanized depending on where you go.
Yeah, I would say it just depends on certain things. From the U.S. to the Japan, I would say schooling is pretty different. The way they view it is totally different. They embrace it more here than in America. I don't know if I have that question coming up, but yeah, how they view school would be a little bit different. Yeah.
Oh, that is true. And the way they run the school.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the way they run the school is different as well.
All right.
And the school lunches, of course.
All right.
Delicious.
So, do the kids ever talk about coming to visit or living in the U.S.?
Yes, that's all they do.
Yeah, they talk about it a lot. They really want to embrace the Americanized culture at times, and they want to gain friends from different English countries. So they really want to visit or embrace and talk to other people from like America or the UK or Australia. So I hear that on a daily basis with my students. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Number 17. How does the school year differentiate in Japan from the U.S.? I would say I think it changes a lot. In Japan, I would say it's quite different. There's 3 seasons for it, or 3 semesters. So school actually begins in April, not August or September, and that ends in March of the following year. So it starts in April, end of March of the following year. So whereas we're in the U.S. August or September, we end in May or June. They're April and they end in March. So they have 3 semesters. So the first semester is from April to August, and then they go into summer break. And then they have the second semester from September to December, then go into winter break and things like that. And then they have the third semester, which is from January to March, when they go into their spring break or things like that.
And I don't think their summer break is as long as ours. Because I think about the same.
About a month per se.
A month.
Whereas the other two.
I don't even, you know how our kids in America, summer break, like school, what is school?
Yeah.
Non-existent. And I'm not, summer break, they're still at school.
Yeah.
Doing sports or their extra activities or.
Yeah. So you'll see some third years, or because in Japanese high school it's first, second, and third. Third years are the seniors. You'll still see some of them practicing for their big tests on in January and February. So they'll be in school a lot.
So still studying, still learning English. Some of them there's no break.
Yeah. And then a lot of the schools here, especially like in high school situation, and we don't have this in the U.S., that I really find an amazing cultural situation or a tradition would be like Culture Festival. They have that coming back directly after summer break. So that's where all the classes in the school, the first year, second year, and third year, they have some form of activity. Some put on performances, some run different classroom games and things like that. And it's a just big sense of camaraderie. And they also finish it off with like a sports day. So like big competition situation. They come in as one, and I find that to be really, really cool. All right. Anything else?
No.
All right. Nice. Let's keep going. What is your go-to spot that is naturally beautiful to you in Japan?
Everywhere.
No.
No, I'm. It might be funny, but I'm serious. Everywhere. Simple as me driving to work every day. I might see the same mountains every day, but to me it is beautiful. Like everywhere that I've seen so far in Japan has been stunning. The just the whole geography, the mountains, the way the sun is set with. It might be because I'm only here for 1 year and it's still honeymoon, so beautiful, yay! But my phone is consisted of sunrise and sunsets because everywhere is just so beautiful. But you may have somewhere special.
I would say that it's around the same thing for me, but if I truly had to put a place to it, I would say Kyoto would be really, really cool.
Yeah.
Kyoto and the place where we are, which is Gifu. So like we're a mixture of a big city / small little area, so that's really, really cool. Kyoto has a lot. Kyoto and Gifu are somewhat a little bit similar for me in my situation or my perspective from it. They have a lot of historical meaning by those two different cities. Kyoto might be a little bit more, but there's a lot of things that we're able to see naturally that's just like truly just beautiful on a daily basis.
Japan is just beautiful in general.
All right. Yeah.
Next question.
Number 19. How long did it take to adjust to the environment?
Like we've been saying this whole video, everyone's experience is different. I feel like if you come here with an open mind and zero expectations, your adjustment will be easier. Also, it was for us, what, 2 to 3 months?
2 to 3 months.
It took for us to adjust, and it just, the certain things that we did, like he said, we created our home to be Americanized, I would say.
In a sense.
Yeah. And the culture is very familiar or similar to what we're used to. So it made the adjusting easier.
Yeah. So some small things that we did was having our VPN. So they're not sponsored, but Surfshark VPN, I'll put it down below too. They really help a lot. Because with our Netflix or our Disney Plus or our YouTube TV, we're able to connect to our Americanized shows and watch those on a daily basis. Whereas if we were to connect to our cable, then it'll just be Japanese TV. So that actually helped us embrace it a little bit more. We do a lot of, games and listening to our music on our Alexa and things like that and our Switch. So that truly helps us. And the way we set up, like she said, the way we set up our home, it reminds us of our previous home in America, which is really helps us out a lot.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Good. Next one. How has your experience been with the locals?
Okay. Well, mine has been good. Besides the Filipinos, and Japan is the second nicest people. Filipinos, they are
top 2.
Yes. Oh, and Indonesia.
And Indonesia.
Yes. Yeah. And Japan. They're the top 3 that so far that I can say they are really nice. Japan can be known as being kind of like cold when it comes to like personable, being like they're known as, but from our experience, the locals have been really nice. And we live in an apartment complex where there's a lot of other foreigners. And it's a great community. They're really nice. If you need any help, they're willing to help.
Shout out to the home team.
Yes. And, but yeah, as far as the local Japanese, they are very friendly and they're very helpful if needed. One experience, we were lost. We're not going to even talk about the train system this time. If you want to know, ask us for another video. That's a whole video in itself. But we were lost and we didn't know how to get to a certain place. And we asked someone in 7-Eleven. She worked there. And she, instead of saying, oh, go right, go down the stairs. No, she left the store and physically walked us to where we need to be. And it was not close. It was like a good walk. And she walked us all the way there, showed us exactly where we need to be. Thank you. And then walked back. That was it. And to me, that's the experience that I've been getting from being in Japan, that they're just really nice, willing to help, and very accepting.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Especially for shout out to my home team and my teachers. They embraced us as soon as we came in. Like Donique stated earlier, our first actual experience, like as soon as we touched down into our area, we experienced a tea ceremony. So we were able to experience that directly. From there, every situation is different, but my teachers, my supervisors, they're really, really great. Get invited to different NCAs, different, social events where you get to drink, talk on a daily basis or about situations. So for me, daily, I would say the locals are amazing for me. All right. Any other?
No, I'm good.
All right. Number 21. What are some of their laws and religious beliefs that we should keep in mind when visiting?
Not gonna lie, if we go through this entire religious and laws, this video would be longer than what it's going to be. So, you can honestly look that up, Google the religions and laws. But the main religion in Japan is Buddhism, but they do not.
In some cases.
Yeah. It's. For some cases, it's Buddhism, but in general, it's non-religion. It's like whatever you want to believe in, that's on you. This is speaking on Gifu. Me personally, since for the year that I've been here, I have not seen a church building anywhere. They have temples, and they have shrines in like everywhere, basically. It can be random streets and there's a shrine there. And the way that their belief is, I know in like the Western, just in America, you know, on Sundays you go to church. That's kind of like the culture thing. Here, they don't have that. There's not Sunday you go to church. It's kind of if you need to pray for something, or if you need to ask your God or whatever for something, you go to the temple, you go to a shrine, you say your prayers, and you ask. It's not like a what's the word? Congregate.
Yeah.
A fellowship.
Yeah.
Because I'm hungry. That's why I'm forgetting the words. It's not there's no fellowship when it comes to the religion. It's kind of just
stand still on your own.
Yes, you and your own. As far as laws, there are many laws, but we can say as foreigners, just when you come, be respectful. Japanese culture, they are very respectful for the next person's
time and space. Personal space.
And personal space. So no talking loud. If you're walking down the street, you can talk, but don't be, if you're disturbing the next person's space, that's considered being inconsiderate. If you're on the train, don't be on your phone talking loud. Don't stand out, basically. And respect the culture. And before you come here, learn the culture or learn their, and it doesn't have to be the entire culture because it goes deep, but at least the surface level of learning it, what to do and what not to do, and just be respectful. Yeah. Pretty much.
Nice. So speaking of trains, what happened?
Oh, sorry. I forgot one thing. Tattoos. As far as laws, if you have tattoos and you come here, you are not able to partake in onsens. That is just the no-no. No matter how small the it can be a dot. And because you have that tattoo, you cannot, because your body's supposed to be cleansed and clean, and a tattoo is seen as unclean.
You might have certain places that do allow it, but in most cases...
It'll be private. It would be a private onsen. Yeah. And the rules will show if it allows tattoos or not. But for majority of it, for the onsen, if you have a tattoo, you cannot go. And tattoos they say tattoos are frowned upon, but it's just certain places you would have to cover it up. Like when I go to the gym, I have to wear a sleeve to cover this up. And like I won't be able to wear like a sports bra type thing like you can do in America. You kind of just have to cover up. But yeah, that's what I would say for tattoos.
All right. Speaking of, trains and transportation, what are the transportation differences? Do you drive a car or do you take the train? So I would say we do both. This is a nice one. So in America, I used to drive a lot, but here, she's no longer passenger princess. She's technically the main person that has to drive because her company, my company, I don't need to drive. My school is really close. I can ride my bike, whereas hers and her company travels all over. So her company actually gave her a car, so she drives a lot. So how is it being able to drive here?
I'm not gonna curse. Driving, I can say the first month, I was terrified, literally shaking and having anxieties because the roads are like, I'm not gonna lie, like it's
narrow.
And it's like the road and the car, like they measured it and say, okay, we're gonna make it exactly the width of this car and no more. So I was really nervous on the roads. But I got used to it. But driving is not a requirement, honestly. No. Because there's so many people. You can ride your bike, you can walk, you can take public transportation like the bus and trains, and they are on time.
Yeah,
America.
I love it.
They are on time.
Fairly cheap.
Yes, depending on where you're going. The bus you pay 230 yen, and you can go wherever you would like in the city.
On a single ride.
Yes, and but like I said, the importance is it being on time, because if you have somewhere to be, you're relying on the transportation. And if it's late, of course, that messes up wherever you have to be. So I really respect that they are always on time. And if they are late, they the world is ending. You would see the world is ending for them because they would be apologizing every second. They would be trying to like. It would be kind of chaos for them while you're used to it. But I would say that it's pretty easy with transportation.
I would also say with transportation, and especially trains, in America, to go from one state to the next, yeah, you could probably take Amtrak, but it takes a very long time. Or in some cases, you wouldn't be able to take it by train. But a lot of places here are accessible through or by train, which makes it extremely convenient. And you're able to go to different places easily, especially if you're, and every situation is different, but from where we are located, we can go anywhere fairly easy.
Yes. Yeah. And that goes for bike and walking, honestly. If you need to go somewhere, and you won't be like the only one walking. There's a lot of people biking and walking. You are not the only one.
Yeah.
So we do all of the above.
All right. Nice. How's the music?
We don't know. Not gonna lie to you, we don't know. We have Alexa and she plays American music. Yeah. We do not know. I'm not gonna lie to you.
We're not that big into the J-pop or K-pop.
We're not big at all.
I can say if you do like the American vibe or things like that, if you go to certain parts in Osaka, they embrace that wholeheartedly. All my yachties, they love the Jamaican culture, so they love it in Tokyo or in Osaka a lot. So
the only Japanese song I know is the new Megan Thee Stallion, and I don't even know who she sings it with. That's the bad thing about it. But that is the only Japanese song. But
sorry about that.
If we hear it playing, it actually sounds nice.
We'll listen to it.
Is it our culture, and do we kind of draw to it? No. It's usually island music or just American music playing in our house.
Yeah.
So, and that goes for the second question. Anime. My kids ask me about anime, and I have zero knowledge of anime.
I'm bad on it as well.
Sorry.
I don't know. It's just not my thing. I didn't come here for the anime. I came here for the different cultures and the food. So I haven't got into it. I'm gonna try. I don't know if that.
He's lying, y'all. He's been saying that we're at a year now, and he hasn't.
One day I'll watch something.
He hasn't even looked it up yet. But it has been nice from the bits and pieces that I've seen from my kids and what they watch. I know Naruto, but that is it, and I don't even think I know the updated version of him. That you don't even know the update. You know the '90s version of Pokemon,
I know Pokemon.
Which doesn't count. But yeah, the anime culture though, you might think not living in Japan that just anime is like everywhere, and it's not like that. People aren't wearing anime costumes walking down the street.
Probably
it's just
Tokyo,
maybe
or Osaka.
In Tokyo. Yes, maybe in the major cities they are. You see anime everywhere, but in general, no. If they like anime, of course they're talking about it, and you'll see it on maybe their book bags or whatever. But yeah, we don't know. We don't know.
All right. Next
2
one.
more questions.
We're almost done. How is the healthcare system compared to America? Absolutely amazing here. Compared to America, like she stated earlier, I had a surgery. I took out my ganglion cyst, Gilbert, and the whole process cost me, with the surgery, with all the follow-up appointments, everything. The whole process cost me about $160, $170 out of pocket. Ridiculous. Whereas the same situation in America could have cost me about $4,000, $5,000, $6,000.
Those unknown fees that happen to come up, and your bill is like.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like it's amazing here. The way they, and this is from my experience. It's just amazing how they value the healthcare, and what they charge you is what they actually give you, compared to, sorry America, what America does.
We're not sorry.
It'll be the same thing when it comes to like going to the dentist. Like for us going to the dentist, I think it costs us $5.
Maybe.
to go to the dentist here, whereas
Yeah.
in America sometimes it'll cost you $130, $300. If you need a true deep cleaning, it costs you $500 or something like that here.
And for the dentist thing, the way in America you go to the dentist twice a year, every 6 months.
You go every
In
3
Japan,
months,
it's every 3 months they go, and it's little to no cost.
yeah.
Yeah, as far as in America, where you might have a small surgery, or like the random times that I've went to the hospital,
Yeah.
and they didn't even fix me. I left there the same way that I came in there, and my credit shows that I have a $4,000 or a $3,000 hospital bill for no reason.
Yeah.
Oh, and also, if you didn't know, the ambulance here, an ambulance ride in America may cost you $1,500. People have a gunshot wound and they would rather drive to the hospital, or delivering a baby and they would rather drive in America because the ambulance bill is so expensive. But here, it's free.
Yeah.
You can ride in the ambulance whenever you like,
Yeah.
and it would cost you nothing. So healthcare, I would say, from our experience, has been amazing. And the quality of service that they provide, like he said with his surgery, the doctor that he spoke to from the beginning of his surgery, like
From my
as soon as he
initial
walked
meeting, my
in there
initial
and
meeting.
said, "This is the issue, I need this to come out," he's the same person that did his surgery and was there for every consultation. So there was no mix-up. You know, in America, you might speak to this person when you first come in, and might be a completely different doctor that does your surgery. Next thing you know, you went in for the right arm and they take out the left arm. So, yeah, we can say it's way better, but we can all agree that every healthcare system is better than America.
Yeah.
Sorry to say it. No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
All right.
Last question.
Last question. When is the best time to travel to Japan? I would say I'll go through all the seasons.
January, February.
January, February, if you like it, when it's really cool, cold, it's gonna snow. It might be cheaper then to go, but if you like that snowy weather or that very cold weather, that's a great time to go for you. I would say the overall best time to go would be March, April.
Yes.
Cherry blossom season. Everyone around the world is trying to go there during that time. With that being said, it is the most expensive time to go, though.
Wait, interjection. Just letting you know, which I also learned, cherry blossom season is only for 2 weeks.
2-3 weeks.
2 weeks. And you better hope it doesn't rain, because you would miss it. And it might be late or early, but it's only 2 weeks, and then they're gone and they turn into regular trees.
Depending on your your region.
Depending on your region.
Yeah.
So, but March and April,
Yeah.
in my opinion, the best weather.
Best time. It's the best weather to go in. It's not as cold. It's not as hot. But it's just more expensive because everyone's trying to go there.
May,
June.
Rain season.
That's rainy season.
Yes. And for the Floridians, we always know, we say Florida weather, where it might be bursts of rain, where it's random rain at 2 o'clock and then another one at 5. No. When it's rainy season and it starts to rain in Japan, it rains from sun up to sundown, then the sun comes back up and it goes back down, and it's still raining.
They go all out.
And they rain, like, the rain doesn't ease up. It's continuous rain all day. Like, hardcore rain all day. So that's one thing I can say about rainy season is they mean rain. They go all out for all of their seasons.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
July, August.
July, August, September.
Woo.
Yes, July, August, September, October. No,
No,
July,
July,
August,
August.
September. Those 3 months, that's when hell comes.
Extremely
I'm not gonna
hot.
lie to you.
It's
And I know
extremely
Florida, Texas, California, all of you, Tennessee, all of you guys might say, "Oh, we're used to the hot. It's hot here." No, you have to come to experience.
I think, Arizona,
No.
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 Nevada, Tennessee, you might be able to handle a little bit more than, I guess, a Floridian.
Don't let him lie to you.
But,
'Cause it's not. Don't let
wee.
him lie to you.
It is. It's
This
bad.
hot is different hot. This is a unique hot. Like, Japan has its own hot.
Yeah.
like-
It's bad.
Very bad.
It's bad. It's
Like,
bad.
you would take a shower, come out the shower, and you are sweating before you get down the stairs to where you're going. Like, it's very, very hot. So if you do come during that season, they do have the neck coolers.
Or the fan vest.
And the fan, yes, they have this cool fan vest.
I'm getting one next week.
That, basically there's a fan built into the vest. That lets you know how hot it is. They have to create things to help you with the heat. They have the neck fans, but I'm not going to lie to you. It's so hot that the neck fans start blowing hot air.
Yeah.
So that kind of defeats the purpose. But the neck coolers and the vest helps. You might see a lot of the Japanese women and men too that wear the UV sleeves to protect you from the sun, because their sun is also no joke. So sunscreen, if you do come, sunscreen, light clothing, and stay hydrated. It's dangerous out here. Heat stroke and heat wave is serious.
Yeah, seriously. What's the next ones? October, November,
December.
No, October, November, December. It's getting real cool.
On time. Once it's cold, there's no going back.
Yeah. It's not as bad as January and February, but December might be, but not October and November.
It's cold, y'all.
It might cost a little bit less to come during that time, but yeah, if you like it on that cooler end, you can go on during that time as well.
So any time, depending on what you would prefer for the season, if you like rain, you know where to come. If you like hot and melting temperatures, you know when to come. And their cold is in my opinion, some people might love the cold and flourish, but it is numbing cold. Very, very, very cold.
As Floridians, it's not really for us,
but yeah, so so those are the reasons and the time. So you kind of choose what you're looking for and what you would prefer, and you can come. But yeah,
I think we went over all of them.
I think we covered all the questions. That was a very long video.
Sorry about that, guys, but we wanted to make sure we answered all the questions that you guys had. If you think that you have any other questions or you wanted something to add, you go ahead and put that down below in the comments for us. Like we said, we're gonna go ahead and try to pull out one video a month. So go ahead and give us some suggestions. What would you want us to do? Put those down below, and can't wait to get back to you guys next time.
Yes.
Peace.